Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we are back with our videos. We'll be back with these ones, the analysis videos. We'll hopefully be back with our handicap analysis videos and eye catcher videos. And going forward, we should be back among the winners as well. So last year we actually did quite well at York for the Ebor Festival. I think I actually finished 5th in the NAP competition. Don't forget to get involved in that. It's a free competition. There are prizes to be won, including rating subscriptions and winners mugs. So do get involved. They obviously all count towards the weekly and monthly competition as well, where there's even more prizes to be won. So do get involved in our free competition. To get involved, you select a horse from here, the next best and third best. You need 3 from any of the races on the day. You then go to NAP, which will say NAP 3-3. Let me just very quickly show you. Like so. You will need to be logged in and submit. And yeah, you'll be in our free competition. So, let's have a look at tomorrow's racing. I'll actually tell you who I'm going to put as my NAP next best and third best as well. Starting off in the 150 at York. I'm only looking at the handicaps. I'm not looking at the group and listed races, just the handicaps in this video. So starting off the 150, the 5 furlong heritage handicap, the sprint. There's 2 in this that have caught my eye, and both of them are decent prices, to be fair. I thought they would be a little bit shorter. The first one is going to be Squealer. Now, as you can see, these are not in ratings order. I will tell you that Squealer has actually come out top rated on ratings. Not in ratings order. This is in alphabetical order because this is a logged out account. If I was a premium member, I would see these in ratings order. So, why do I like Squealer? So, he finished 4th recently at Pontefract when was never nearer 4th off his new 92 mark, and that was probably just not unlucky, but things didn't pan out that day. There was only 5 in it, which meant he didn't get the clear, didn't get a strongly run race. It didn't suit him, and he finished 4th of 5 and never nearer 2 lengths 4th of 5. It's his previous run that really caught my eye from looking back through his form. Obviously, he'd beaten JM Jungle here at York. JM Jungle's since gone on and done good things. He finished 3rd in a listed race and then actually won a Group 2, the King George Qatar Stakes at Goodwood. JM Jungle was winning that, and JM Jungle had previously come into that race at York, having won the Epsom Dash. He'd also finished 2nd at York behind American Affair, 2nd at Musselburgh behind American Affair. The form was all there for JM Jungle, and Squealer was able to beat him. Squealer went up £4 for that. Probably in the context of the race, that was fair. Maybe even lenient. I think it was lenient. And I think the fact that he was disappointing last time just means we're getting a bigger price than what we should about him. If he hadn't had that previous run, and he was coming here off the back of his run at York, coming back to York off that defeat of JM Jungle, he would be favourite in my opinion. I really do believe it. I think he would be a short price, or not a short price favourite, but he would be 6-1, 5-1 favourite because the form from JM Jungle stacks up. He was coming into the race in good form. He has won at York before in a 5 furlong race, novice race back in 2022. So he's got everything going for him really. Course and distance form, course form, beaten a horse who was in red hot form. Okay, it didn't quite go to plan last time out, but that's why we're getting a price about him. That's why we're getting 14s about Squealer, and I think that's a big price. The second horse that I also like in this race, that is a bigger price. If he was a shorter price, I wouldn't have been selecting him, but he's a bigger price than he's the same price. No, he's not. He's a bigger price. A bigger price than Squealer even. And that's Van the Man, who has some decent form to his name, including when finishing 5th in a yearling stakes back in 2023. He then finished 2nd to Jubilee Walk, and it's that race in 2024 that really caught my eye. And to be fair, his efforts at York are normally pretty good. When he was second to Jubilee Walk, he was running over 5 furlongs, hit the front and just got collared late on by Jubilee Walk. They were in front of Pilgrim, which was good form. He's since come back to York for the handicap that American Affair was beating JM Jungle, and it didn't go to plan that day. He finished 11th. He was way out the back, never really made any ground, but he was only 8-1 that day. He was only 8-1 in a race featuring some good horses such as American Affair, JM Jungle, Shagran, Vintage Clarets has done well since. All of these horses have come out and done well since. Now, he went off 8-1 off a mark of 90. Well, he actually runs here this time off a mark of 88, having been 3 times to Hamilton and disappointed to a degree. But because he's coming back to York that we know he can run well at, he's off an 88 mark instead of that 90 mark. He only went off 8-1 in probably just as good, if not a better race. I think he's too big. He should be around that 8-1 mark again. But he's not. He's 16s, and I think that's a price that is worth taking here, because if he does run to that form that they thought he would last him out at York back in May, off 90, he'd probably go very close here off 88. So we're getting a decent price about him as well. We move on to the 410 at York, the 2 mile Sky Bet Stayers handicap. And you can see the horse I like here. It is a horse we've backed a couple of times. He hasn't quite got it right yet for us. I'm sure his time is coming soon. That is Align the Stars, who goes back up to 2 mile, or back down now to 2 mile, after finishing well beaten 7th at Goodwood in the Coral Goodwood handicap. That was over 2.5 mile. He doesn't stay the 2.5 mile despite a good run in the Ascot Stakes. 2 mile is probably the trip he does want now. I liked him at Newmarket in the Bet365 Trophy. He ran a good race for 5th over 1 mile and 6. Give him that. If that had been over 2 mile, I think he would have gone very close there. Does have a bit of form to his name at York. He did run over 1.5 miles in a handicap back in 2024, when he was beaten by the very useful London City. A reproduction of that effort, and I think he'll go very close. Okay, last time out at York when he ran, he was well beaten, but he was beaten in a Group 2. He only went off 14-1 for that Group 2. Off coming into that race, he had won his last 3 races at Thirsk, Goodwood and Haydock, probably suggesting that maybe he's better than a handicapper, but things just haven't quite worked out. From then, that means he went up to a mark of 102 for the Group 2. Now, he's probably not that good, but since then he's dropped, having run in listed and group races, listed and handicaps, back down to a mark of 96. Well, when he was winning at Goodwood, over 1 mile and 6 in the Coral Summer Handicap, he was actually running off 99, a higher mark. So he was winning off 99 in August 2024. He runs here, August 2025, off a £3 lower mark in a similar class of race. And he's where is he? This one here. Let's have a look. He's currently available at 16s. I mean, he went off 100 to 30 joint favourite when he was winning that race at Goodwood last year. He's 16s off a £3 lower mark in a handicap. I like him. I think and the fact that he's got a bit of form to his name, having finished second at York, got a bit of course form to his name, having finished second at York, behind London City, I think he's too big here. And if he does bounce back, I think he will win this. If he bounces back to his best, or bounces back to last year's form, I think he wins this, even with the likes of Alphonse Legland clearly being a potential plot horse. I definitely use the word potential there. Hasn't done it for me yet, and I will definitely want to take him on. So I am with Align the Stars at 16-1. We then move on to the 445, the 5 furlong fillies handicap, and the filly I like here is Queen's Guard. Now, Queen's Guard has only had the 2 runs this season. She returned at York in June in a fillies handicap off a mark of 90, and she ran a really good race for 4th when actually fading late on. I think that's the key here. She faded late on, and she's back down now to a 5 furlong trip instead of 6. They then went to Wolverhampton with her after that, and again stuck her over 6. That didn't work. She's back down to 5, and I think that could be a really key here, dropping back down to 5 furlongs. Last season, they were running her in listed races at Chester, listed race at Pontefract, a listed race at Ayr. They really liked her. She then won a London Sprint Series qualifier at Kempton over 6, off a mark of 85, and went up to 90. It hasn't worked since. She went listed race, York over potentially too far, and then Wolverhampton, which I just feel was a race to get her dropped again, with hopefully this race in mind. A feature handicap, it's worth 51 grand to the winner. The race at Wolverhampton last time out was worth 38, so there's a little bit more prize money involved. And yeah, if she runs her race and doesn't fade late on, which she shouldn't do over this trip, I think she's got a great chance. And with that in mind, let's just have a look at the price. Let's load up both of the next 2 races now. She is available at 16 to 1. I think that's too big. I think, yeah, a clear run. I imagine she'll be relatively prominent based on that she does stay a little bit further. And I think she's going to be tough to peg back. I think she's going to be right up there and be, yeah, tough to peg back. And I do like her. I think Queen's Guard's going to go well here. And finally, the last race we're going to look at is the 520, which is a 6 furlong nursery. The horse I like here is Blue Orbit. Now, still a colt, so they still are hopeful of bigger and better things. She started off finishing 2nd at Chepstow behind Italica. Decent effort. Then went to Goodwood and won a 4-runner affair, 4-runner maiden, comfortably. Went off 2 to 5, beat Proof. Nothing interesting there. It's the next couple of runs that actually I think he's performed better than the finishing position suggests. He finished 6th 2 runs ago in a listed race at Sandown when Very Keen didn't settle under Ross O'Ryan, and arguably disappointed a little bit. That said, he was still only a few lengths behind Rogue Supremacy, and they were off level weights that day. Now, Rogue Supremacy also caught my eye in this race, but Rogue Supremacy is £9 worse off with Blue Orbit. I think that's too much here. And I would have Blue Orbit a shorter price than Rogue Supremacy, and yet I like Rogue Supremacy, who, again, I would have a shorter price. I would have Rogue Supremacy around 10s, and therefore I would have Blue Orbit at 8s sort of price. And the fact that we can get 16s, I therefore think he is a good bet. Last time out, went to Goodwood for a nursery, finished 6th behind Ardisia. Again, ran a good race, didn't get the clearest of runs, and when he did get the clear run, just flattened out late on, and that was over 6 furlongs, which I don't think the trip called him out. I just feel that he was making his effort at the wrong time, and if he'd made his effort at a more suitable time, he would have gone very, very close there. What I mean by that is he'd kind of used up all his petrol by being so not getting the clear run, and it was at that point that when he had that momentum that he needed to get that clear run and kick on, whereas by the time the gap came, he sat there and then Holly went, let's go, and by that time the horse was running on, or not running on empty, but definitely running out of steam. And it's the momentum thing that I really think cost him. In that race there was Oldie's Gold, who's 10s, and Shaman Champion, who is the 6 to 1, 11 to 2, could even go off favourite, that one, Shaman Champion. They were 2nd and 3rd, but I feel with a clear run, Blue Orbit would have at least been challenging them. And with that in mind, and the fact that they are down here, and Blue Orbit's right down here at 16s. I think Blue Orbit is a good bet here. So they are my selections for tomorrow. Squealer and Van der Man in the 150. Align the Stars in the 410. Queen's Guard in the 445. And Blue Orbit in the 520. Fingers crossed for a couple of winners there or more. Good luck if you do get involved in the NAP competition. Hope to see lots of you involved. There is, as I said, a York Ebor Special running as well as the usual weekly and monthly competitions.